Adebayo, it's good to see you again. Thank you very much for joining us on the program today.
Yeah, it's always a pleasure to visit you here.
And congratulations on your appointment as the Vice President of the New Brunswick Multicultural Council.
Thank you so much.
So tell me, what will be your role as the Vice President of the Multicultural Council?
So basically, Multicultural Council in New Brunswick is a body that welcomes newcomers, and part of the things we do in the Multicultural Council is to ensure that when newcomers, when they arrive in New Brunswick, they settle down quickly, they get the deserved attention, and to ensure they are successful settling down into the community. And of course, we're interested in keeping them. We don't want them to leave, and that's the reason why we have to make sure that everyone is well looked after when they come to New Brunswick.
That's very good for the province of New Brunswick, and that's also good for you.
One of the things that I am looking forward to is the ability for us to use the office to be able to speak to the provincial government and to be able to make recommendations as to the experience of newcomers in New Brunswick, and to be able to speak to the policymakers as to what the newcomers are going through, not just newcomers, even for those that have been there for ages, to be able to represent them, to amplify their voices, so that the government is well aware of what's going on in the communities. They use this data in budget planning, in ensuring that they get the right attraction of talents. So basically, that's one of the things that this data is meant to do. So I'm looking forward to help in that area to better the lives of not just Nigerians, not just newcomers, lives of the less visible minority in New Brunswick.
Let's talk about the Nigerian Association in New Brunswick. You are the president of the association, so tell us what's going on now. I remember the last time we visited for the passport intervention, you had a lot going on.
We have a supporting community. Everyone is involved in the process. We'll have the executives that are working tirelessly to ensure that once any Nigerian arrives the province, we look after them. We go all out to see what we can, how best we can help them quickly settle. And it's just not the executives alone. It's the overwhelming support of the community. Those of our people that have settled in there long even before we arrived. At least they see the faces that looks like theirs. And in the long run, the idea is to ensure that we keep growing the community, not just growing the community, the welfare, the well-being of every Nigerian in New Brunswick, and the economic prosperity of every Nigerian in New Brunswick is paramount to us.
When the Nigeria High Commission, led by the High Commissioner, came to New Brunswick for passport intervention and all the courtesy visits that they had, the High Commissioner spoke passionately about the issue of visas, especially for Nigerian students who got admission to Canada and couldn't make it to Canada because of the issue of visa, and the need for these institutions to also wade in and speak to this issue to see how it can be resolved easily, so that more students who wish to come and study here in Canada in general will make it to Canada. Now, has that got anything to do with the change you've seen recently in terms of the number of students coming to study in New Brunswick?
Between the time that His Excellency Ambassador Adeyinka Asekun visited and his entourage, and now, we've seen a great increase in the number of students that arrived the province. And I recall during the visit of the Vice President, he equally advocated for that, for increased visa approval for Nigerian students, and he has always been, a leading voice in that space. So between that period and now, we've seen about over 162 students arrived in New Brunswick, and which is, you know, unprecedented. And like I say, you even find some people transferring from different provinces in Canada, transferring to UNB, University of New Brunswick, University of the Mountain, and some colleges in New Brunswick like NBCC, Eastern College. The reception has just been really, really awesome.
It's always a pleasure speaking with you about issues concerning Nigeria and Nigerians in Canada. And now here we are talking about newcomers to New Brunswick. And we're so happy that you're up to the task. So thank you so much for joining us. I look forward to having that conversation with you probably in the next 2 months. Let's see how you're doing.
It's always a pleasure. Thank you for having me.